Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by telling you something you already know deep down. Communication can make or break your life. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have, but most of us have no idea how to use it well. So today, I'm here to give you one powerful communication skill that can truly transform your life. And it's not about speaking louder, using bigger words, or sounding smarter. It's about something far more important. It's about learning to truly listen, not just to the words someone says, but to the meaning behind them, to the energy they carry, to the emotion they're expressing. When you listen, really listen, everything changes. Think about the last time you had a conversation where you felt completely heard. Like someone wasn't just nodding along, but actually taking in your words, feeling your emotions, and letting you know that you mattered. Feels good, right? Now imagine if you could do that for everyone you meet. The truth is, we spend so much time focused on what we're going to say next that we stop paying attention to what's being said right now. We're so busy crafting our response that we're missing out on connection, on empathy, on understanding. But here's the deal. If you can put aside your own agenda, even for just a moment, and really lean into someone else's words, you'll build trust. And trust is the foundation of every successful relationship, whether it's personal or professional. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you're talking to someone, whether it's your partner, your coworker, your kid, or a complete stranger, make it your mission to truly understand them. Not just their words, but their heart. Don't interrupt, don't fix, just listen. I promise you when you do this, something amazing happens. People open up, they feel safe. And that's when real transformation begins. That's when you stop being just another voice in the noise and start being a trusted guide, a partner, a leader. Now, let's talk about why this matters. Because if you're feeling stuck in your career or your relationships, chances are it's not because you're not smart enough or capable enough. It's because you're not communicating in a way that builds bridges. You're talking, but you're not connecting. And connection is everything. Think about it. We live in a world that's never been more connected digitally, yet we're more disconnected than ever emotionally. We're bombarded with information but starved for meaning. That's why this skill, the ability to listen and connect deeply, is more valuable than ever. It's the secret sauce that turns ordinary interactions into extraordinary breakthroughs. And here's the best part. This isn't some complicated system. You don't need a degree in psychology. You don't need to memorize scripts or techniques. You just need to slow down, pay attention, and care. Care about the person in front of you enough to give them the gift of your presence. I've seen this skill change lives. I've seen people on the verge of divorce find a way back to each other simply because they learned to listen. I've seen leaders transform their teams because they stopped barking orders and started listening to what their people really needed. I've seen shy, introverted people rise up and become powerful communicators because they focused on understanding rather than performing. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you with this. Don't underestimate the power of listening. Don't think of it as a passive act. It's one of the most active, engaged, and life-affirming things you can do. Because when you truly listen, you're not just hearing someone's words, you're seeing their soul. You're saying, I'm here with you. You matter. I care. And that can change everything. We often think that communication is all about words, what we say, how we say it, the tone, the vocabulary, the polish of our sentences. But that's not where the real magic happens. Real communication, the kind that actually creates change, begins with authenticity. Authenticity is about showing up as you are, not as who you think you should be. It's about dropping the mask, letting go of the performance, and having the courage to be real. Because when you're real, people know, they feel it, they trust it, and that's where the connection begins. Authenticity doesn't mean you have to overshare or dump your entire life story on every person you meet. It's not about being an open book to everyone. It's about being true to yourself. It's about speaking from a place of honesty, not from a place of trying to impress. We live in a world that's obsessed with curated images and filtered perfection. We see it on social media all day long. People trying to look flawless, say the perfect thing, be liked by everyone. But here's the truth. Perfection is boring. It's the cracks and flaws that make us relatable, that make us human. When you show up with your real, messy, beautiful self. I know that sounds simple, but let's be real. It's not always easy. Because being authentic means being vulnerable. It means letting people see the parts of you that aren't polished or perfect. It means risking judgment, and that can be scary. But what I've learned, and what I want you to really hear, is that vulnerability is not weakness. It's strength. It takes guts to stand up and say, this is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I'm feeling. And that's exactly what the world needs more of. When you're authentic, your words carry more weight. Your message lands in people's hearts, not just their ears. People aren't just listening to you, they're feeling you. They're seeing themselves in your story. That's why authenticity is the single most important communication skill you can develop. Because no matter how brilliant your ideas are, if you're not speaking from a place of truth, they'll never truly resonate. But how do you get there? How do you practice authenticity? You start by paying attention to the moments when you're tempted to hide. Those moments when you feel the urge to put on a facade or pretend you're something you're not. In those moments, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, what's real for me right now? What do I really want to say? What do I really feel? And then say that, even if it's messy, even if it's not perfectly worded, because real beats perfect every single time. You also need to practice listening to your own inner voice. So often, we drown it out. So busy trying to fit in, to meet expectations, to please others, that we lose touch with our own truth. But that voice, the quiet one that tells you what's really going on inside, is your guide. Learn to hear it, and then have the courage to speak it. Here's the other thing. Authenticity isn't about always having the answers or being 100% confident all the time. It's about owning where you're at. If you're scared, say you're scared. If you're unsure, admit it. People relate to honesty, not perfection. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone step up and say, I don't know, but I'm here to figure it out with you. And that vulnerability instantly created trust. That's the power of authenticity. So many of us are conditioned to believe that showing any sign of doubt or insecurity is a weakness. But the opposite is true. When you're willing to share those parts of yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where real conversations can happen. And real conversations, those are the conversations that change lives. I also want to say this. Authenticity doesn't mean you don't care about how you communicate. It doesn't mean you show up unprepared or without intention. It means you're prepared to show up as yourself. You're clear on your values. You're clear on what matters to you. And you're willing to stand in that truth, even if it's uncomfortable. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to challenge you today. Start practicing authenticity in every conversation. It doesn't have to be all at once. Start small. Be honest about how you're feeling. Be real about what you need. Drop the performance and show up as yourself. Because when you do, you'll notice something incredible. People lean in. They listen. They connect. Because they're craving what's real. And you become a magnet for authentic relationships, for meaningful opportunities, for the kind of success that's built on a foundation of trust. Remember, authenticity is contagious. When you're real, you inspire others to be real too. And that creates a ripple effect that can transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. So go out there and speak your truth. The world needs your voice, your real, unfiltered, imperfectly perfect voice. Let's make it heard. Listening isn't just about being quiet while someone else is talking. It's about truly hearing what they're saying and what they're not saying. Most people are so focused on what they're going to say next that they miss the real point of the conversation. They're waiting for their turn to speak instead of really tuning in. But if you want a master communication, if you want to transform your life with this skill, you have to become a master listener. And that means listening with your whole self, your ears, your mind, your heart. When you really listen, you're not just hearing words. You're paying attention to tone, to energy, to body language. You're looking for the deeper meaning. You're trying to understand where the other person is coming from, not just what they're saying. Because so often what's not said is even more important than the words that are spoken. Listening is about presence. It's about putting down your phone, turning away from distractions, and giving someone your full attention. In a world where everyone is constantly multitasking and half listening, presence is powerful. It shows the other person that you value them, that you're willing to invest your time and energy in understanding them. And that's where trust begins. Because trust isn't built through fancy speeches or perfect answers. It's built through genuine human connection. And genuine connection starts with listening. But here's what most people get wrong. They think listening is passive. It's not. True listening is active. It's engaging. For it, it's reflecting back what you're hearing. It's asking clarifying questions. It's summarizing what someone just said to make sure you really understand it. It's showing that you're not just there to respond, you're there to connect. And when you start listening this way, you'll be amazed at what opens up. People will share more. They'll open up to you. They'll feel safe with you. And that's where influence starts. We live in a world that rewards talking. The loudest voices, the biggest personalities, the people who seem to have it all figured out. But true influence doesn't come from dominating a conversation. It comes from making someone else feel seen and heard. That's the heart of leadership. That's the heart of relationships. And that's why listening is so powerful. It's the doorway to real understanding. And real understanding is the foundation of everything that matters. So how do you practice this? Start by slowing down. So often we're in a rush, jumping from one conversation to the next, trying to squeeze in as much as we can. But when you slow down and really tune in, the quality of your communication changes. Instead of focusing on what you're going to say next, focus on what the other person is saying right now. Be curious, be open, be willing to be surprised. Another piece is empathy. Listening with empathy means listening not just for facts, but for feelings. It means asking yourself, what is this person really feeling right now? What's going on beneath the surface? When you listen with empathy, you connect on a much deeper level. You move beyond surface level exchanges and into real understanding. That's where the magic happens. I'll tell you this too. Listening with empathy doesn't mean you always have to agree. It doesn't mean you have to take on someone else's perspective as your own. It means you're willing to hear it, to honor it, to see it as valid, even if it's different from your own. That's how we create spaces where real dialogue can happen, where people feel safe to be themselves, where ideas can flow and new possibilities can emerge. I know it's not always easy, especially when emotions are high or when you feel strongly about something. But that's when listening matters most. Because when you're in a tough conversation, the temptation is to interrupt, to argue, to defend your own position. But if you can pause, take a breath, and really hear the other person out, you create the possibility for real connection. And real connection is how conflicts get resolved, how relationships get repaired, how progress gets made. Another tip, don't be afraid of silence. Silence can be uncomfortable, but it's also powerful. When you give someone space to process, to gather their thoughts, to share something deeper, you show them that you're patient, that you're willing to hold that space for them. And so often, it's in those pauses that the real truth comes out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to challenge you. In every conversation you have today, focus on listening more than you speak. Make it your mission to really understand the other person's perspective. Don't worry so much about what you're going to say next. Trust that when you truly listen, the right words will come. Because when you build your communication on a foundation of listening, you create the kind of relationships and opportunities that last a lifetime. Remember, listening isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. It's a commitment to seeing and valuing other people. It's a practice that you get better at every single day. And when you master it, you'll find that communication becomes easier, relationships become richer, and life itself becomes more meaningful. So go out there and listen like your life depends on it, because in so many ways, it does. Most people think that confidence is about knowing exactly what to say or do in any situation. But the real secret is in your body language and your energy, because here's the truth. The way you carry yourself shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the way you act. You've probably heard the saying, a fake it till you make it. But what that really means is that you have to embody confidence before you feel it. Your mind and your body are deeply connected, and when you shift your body language, your mind will follow. When you walk into a room, your shoulders back, your head held high, and your movements deliberate and calm, you're telling your brain and everyone around you that you belong there. You're saying, I am here and I matter. And you don't even have to say a word. People pick up on your energy, on the way you take up space, on the way you move, and the way you breathe. Confidence isn't just about what you're saying. It's about how you're showing up. One of the simplest ways to start practicing this is to become aware of your posture. When you stand or sit up straight, with your chest open and your shoulders back, you're sending a signal to your brain that you're in control, that you're ready to engage. Slouching, folding in on yourself, or shrinking down, that's the body language of someone who doesn't believe they deserve to be seen. And let me tell you, you do deserve to be seen. So own your space. Take a deep breath. Relax your jaw, unclench your hands, and let yourself be present. Another key is your facial expressions. You'd be amazed at how much more confident you feel when you soften your face and let yourself smile, even just a little. A warm, genuine smile doesn't just make you look more approachable to others. It actually sends a message to your brain that you're safe and supported. It lowers stress and helps you feel more grounded in your body. So before you head into that meeting, that conversation, or that challenging situation, take a moment to breathe and soften your face. It's a tiny shift, but it has a huge impact. Let's also talk about movement. Confident people don't rush or fidget. They move with intention. They're deliberate. When you're feeling nervous, your body wants to make you smaller. Maybe you tap your foot, play with your hair, or shift from side to side. But when you ground yourself and move with calm, slow energy, you're sending the message that you're not in a hurry to get approval or permission from anyone. You're centered. You're steady. And that steadiness is magnetic. Your voice matters too. Confident people speak clearly and with conviction. They don't rush their words or fill every silence. They're comfortable with pauses. They trust that what they have to say matters enough to be heard. So slow down. Let your words land. Don't be afraid of a little quiet. It can be one of the most powerful tools in your toolkit. The key takeaway is this: you don't have to feel confident to start acting confident. In fact, confidence comes from action, not the other way around. When you practice showing up in your body, like you're already the person you want to be, your mind will catch up. It's like a feedback loop. Your body language influences your feelings influence your thoughts, and your thoughts influence your actions. I know this isn't easy. Maybe you've spent years feeling small or doubting whether you're good enough. But you have to start somewhere. And the smallest changes in your posture, your breath, and your energy can make the biggest difference. Start today. Stand tall. Walk into every room like you deserve to be there. Because you do. And even if your voice shakes at first, that's okay. You're still showing up, and that's what matters. Here's something else to remember. Confidence isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about giving yourself permission to show up as the most powerful version of who you already are. It's about trusting that you have something to offer and that your presence matters. And that kind of confidence doesn't just change how other people see you. It changes how you see yourself. When you start to move through the world with this kind of embodied confidence, you'll find that opportunities open up for you. People will respond to you differently. Conversations will flow more easily. You'll feel more at ease in your own skin. That's not because you magically became someone else. It's because you decided to own your space and trust yourself. So the next time you're doubting yourself, I want you to remember this. Your body holds the key. When in doubt, stand taller. Slow your breath. Move with intention. Speak with clarity. And know that even if your mind is swirling with self-doubt, your body can lead the way. Because when you lead with your body, your mind will follow. And that's how you unlock the kind of confidence that can transform every part of your life. The secret to meaningful conversations isn't just about the words you say. It's about truly listening. So many of us fall into the trap of thinking we're listening when in reality, we're just waiting for our turn to talk. We're already thinking about what we're going to say next or how we're going to respond. But real listening means setting all that aside and being fully present with the person in front of you. When you give someone your full attention, your eyes, your ears, your energy, you're sending a powerful message. I see you. I hear you. What you're saying matters. And that message creates trust. It creates connection. It opens up space for vulnerability and authenticity. Because people can feel the difference. They know when you're truly listening and when you're just going through the motions. One of the best ways to start practicing this is to get curious. Instead of rushing to share your opinion or advice, ask more questions. And not just surface level questions. Ask questions that invite people to go deeper. Questions like, how did that make you feel? Or, oh, what was the hardest part for you? Or, oh, what did you learn from that experience? These kinds of questions show that you're engaged, that you care, and that you're genuinely interested in their story. Another part of real listening is learning to be comfortable with silence. So often we're afraid of pauses in conversation because we think it means something's wrong or that we're being awkward. But those pauses are actually where the magic happens. When you give someone the space to think and reflect, they're more likely to share something real and honest. So don't be afraid of a little quiet. Let the other person take their time. Hold that space with patience and presence. Body language also plays a huge role in how we listen. When you lean in a little, when you nod, when you make eye contact, these small cues let the other person know that you're right there with them. You're not distracted or somewhere else in your head, and even if you're not saying much, you're communicating so much through your body. It's also important to put away your phone or anything else that might pull your focus. We've all had that experience of talking to someone who's checking their notifications or glancing at their screen every few seconds. It's like you're talking to a brick wall. Don't be that person. Show people that they're your priority by giving them your full, undivided attention. Here's the thing. When you're really listening, you're not just helping the other person. You're helping yourself too. Because when you tune in deeply, you learn things. You pick up on nuances, on unspoken emotions, on the things that people don't always say directly. You start to understand people on a much deeper level. And that understanding makes you more empathetic, more compassionate, and more connected. Don't underestimate how powerful this can be in your life. When you become a great listener, you stand out. In a world full of noise and distraction, people remember the ones who make them feel heard. Whether it's in your personal relationships at work or with total strangers, being a listener is a superpower. It's the key to stronger relationships, to more effective communication, and to building real trust. Let's be honest, listening isn't always easy. Sometimes we're tired, distracted, or overwhelmed by our own thoughts and feelings. That's okay. Part of becoming a better listener is simply noticing when your mind is wandering and gently bringing it back. It's like a muscle. You build it over time. And every time you choose to bring your attention back to the person in front of you, you're making that muscle stronger. One of the biggest shifts you can make is to approach every conversation with the mindset that you don't have to fix or solve anything. You don't have to have the perfect advice or the smartest response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer is your presence. Just being there fully present and open-hearted is enough, because at the end of the day, most people aren't looking for solutions. They're looking for connection. They're looking for someone to really see them. So the next time you're in a conversation, challenge yourself to really listen. Put your phone away. Quiet your inner monologue. Focus on the other person's words, their tone, their emotions. Ask questions that go deeper. And when you feel the urge to jump in with your own story or opinion, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I really listening? Or am I just waiting for my turn? The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You'll find that people open up to you more easily, that conversations become richer, more meaningful, that you start to feel more connected to the people in your life and to yourself. Because here's the ultimate truth. Real listening isn't just a skill. It's a way of being. It's about showing up in every moment with presence and curiosity. It's about seeing the humanity in the person across from you and holding space for them to be fully themselves. And when you do that, you create something truly powerful, a genuine human connection. And that, my friends, is one of the most transformative things you can offer in this world. Mastering the art of listening can completely transform your communication and your relationships. But there's another piece to this puzzle, your mindset. So many people walk into conversations with the mindset that they already know what the other person is going to say. It means you're doing it from a place of curiosity and respect, not ego and control. It means you're willing to be changed by what you hear, even if just a little bit. Because every conversation has the potential to teach you something new about the world, about the person in front of you, and even about yourself. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, pause for a moment and check in with your mindset. Are you stuck in your own narrative, or are you open to what the other person is saying? Are you listening to respond, or are you listening to understand? Are you approaching the conversation as an opportunity to learn or as a battle to be won? This simple shift in mindset can change everything. It can turn tense, awkward conversations into moments of real connection. It can take surface-level chats and turn them into deep, meaningful dialogues. It can help you build stronger relationships, resolve conflicts more easily, and connect with people in a way that's authentic and real. At the end of the day, communication isn't just about the words you say. It's about the energy you bring to the conversation. It's about showing up with an open heart and a willingness to see the other person as a whole human being. And when you do that, you're not just becoming a better communicator. You're becoming a better version of yourself. You're growing, expanding, and creating deeper, more meaningful relationships. And that, my friends, is what truly transforms your life.